Welcome, Alpha Scholars Program Class of 2026, to our virtual meeting. I am Mrs. Wilson, the Alpha Scholars Program Coordinator.
And I'm Mr. Wilson. I'm the Alpha Scholars Counselor.
So there's just some information that we wanted to share with you to make sure that we have an even better year. All right, here we go.
Okay, so junior year is the most important and probably the most challenging year. So not to freak you out at the beginning of the year, but we got to make sure that this year goes really well. So I'm glad that we're having these conversations right now, making sure we're all on the same page. Your student is jumping from one AP class to 4 or even 5 during the junior year. AP is not the same as honors. I think the honors classes are getting them ready for that. Hopefully the workload won't be too much bigger than what they were doing last year, but every year it gets a little bit harder than the year before. So we want to make sure that everybody knows what your student is jumping into. So very important to keep the grades high this year. Transcripts are going to be important. And remember that we're doing college applications at the beginning of senior year, which means that junior year is going to be the last year that's on the transcript that colleges are going to be seeing when they're making their decisions about whether or not they're accepting you into college. So really important that we have a great junior year. Okay, that doesn't mean senior year doesn't matter. It absolutely matters. It's a big deal as well, but junior year, most important. All right, transcripts, which by the way, you can run as a parent or students can run as a student on Parent View and Student View. I would absolutely encourage you to run that and take a look at it. Something that I want you to understand is that your Cal Grant GPA determines your financial aid eligibility. So that means that when we do the FAFSA as a senior, that Cal Grant GPA is what's going to determine how much money you qualify for. It is only sophomore and junior year. It is unweighted, which means that C's and honors and AP classes can be a problem on that GPA because you don't want a 2.0 going into that GPA and dropping it down. We really want your Cal Grant GPA to be a 3.0 or higher. A 3.0 Cal Grant GPA qualifies you for Cal Grant A, which is more money, and parents can, and the income ceiling is higher for parents, which means that parents can still do pretty okay, and then students can still qualify for money. So Cal Grant GPA, very important, only sophomore and junior year. It's unweighted. Please, please, please make sure it doesn't drop below a 3.0. It's why we have a 3.85 requirement for the program. Okay. If you have any questions about that, please stop by and see me. And if you have questions about your individual transcript, we can always talk about that.
Awesome. So we're very excited about the opportunities that we can offer the Alpha Scholars students. So remember in your 9th grade year where you guys went to USC and UCLA? That was awesome. Remember your sophomore year where you did an overnight trip to 4 different colleges in San Diego? Also awesome. This year we have a 3-day trip planned in the spring to a handful of Northern California schools. All of this, I mean, it's cool getting on a bus and going off campus and doing things, but really what this is about is for you to be able to walk onto a college campus and look around and like, is this my space? Is this some place where I feel like I can thrive? What extracurriculars are available to me? Do they offer my major? Like all of those things, being able to either get onto a campus that you've been dreaming about, or maybe go onto a campus that you've never even heard of. All of these opportunities just widening your opportunity to dream for after high school. This year, there will also be a 0 period, like your freshman year, but not like your freshman year, because it's only going to be 1 day a week. And what we are focused on is PSAT and SAT prep, because yes, 11th grade, you do take the PSAT again this October. Not all 11th graders will take it, but Alpha Scholar students will. And it's all to prepare you for the SAT that will be in the spring. So we'll be doing PSAT and SAT prep. We'll be doing college research. I should be able to give you that start date next week sometime. So stay tuned for that. And then of course, 12th grade, we do have a 1-day college trip planned that we'll get that in before you start filling out your college applications. And again, that 0 period, that 1 day a week, where you are going to get individual help with your college application, with financial aid, with scholarships, all of those things that can be so intimidating for students going to college because you've never had to do that thing before. So all of these all of these supports and services that we have for you, which include that college career guidance at each grade level, the grade monitoring, and just the grade level advisors that are checking in on you. How are you doing with your grades? How are you just doing as a human being? The exposure to all the different AP classes, and even with community service, right? So you guys have a total of 70 hours that you need to have completed by the end of your senior year. But every time that we hear about opportunities, especially on campus, which are easy to do, we're sending that information out like, hey, here's an opportunity. And some of you, I know, definitely took me up on a lot of those last year. And then, of course, finally, that one-on-one 4-year plan guidance that you get from Mr. Wilson, your counselor. So,
okay.
So to be able to go on these trips, so the one that we have planned for the spring, is there are definitely some requirements. So one, every year we resign our Alpha Scholars Agreement, which includes that 3.85 GPA, not to try to make things hard, but really to try to protect your that unweighted GPA that Mr. Wilson was talking about. So you need to have that agreement turned back in, and then any of your absences from this year, you need to have made those up during step up. So first semester, make sure you're making up your absences if you have to be absent. And then second semester, make sure you're making up those absences during step up Saturdays. You need to attend zero period. So I know it's only once a week, but it is a requirement. And so attendance at zero period is not an option. You need to be there because it's there for you. And then by the end of your senior year, to get that STOL, that special regalia for graduation, 70 hours of community service. One other opportunity that I didn't mention on the last slide is something that we're adding this year, is field trips to JPL, so the Jet Propulsion Laboratory. We have a former student who works there and is able to facilitate very small tours for us. But we'll have throughout the year for those of you who are looking very seriously at a STEM career someday. So
good. Is there a certain amount of community service hours that they should have by the time we go on the spring trip?
By the time we go on the spring trip, they should be to at least 50 hours. 50 hours is where they should be by the spring. So you guys are turning those in to Mr. Fitz. Check in with him, make sure all that's up to date. Don't wait till the end, like, here they all are, Mr. Fitz. Like, make sure you're getting those in as soon as you can. And if you're struggling with it, please come and see us so that we can help with that. So you can look at these slides, but basically how many of those zero periods that you guys are going to, these are, you can miss, but you can't miss very much. And if you're tardy, you can't be tardy very much. So please pay attention to each of these slides, how many sessions you have to attend, and what, how the tardies figure into that. So getting here early in the morning, next slide. I know it's hard. So here's semester 1. And then, so take a look at this. Each month, how many sessions there should be, and the minimum requirement. So make sure you're there, make sure you're on time. Next slide, I think it's semester 2. And semester 2. So this is what we're going to be covering. And again, this is for your benefit. We are not trying to just spend your time. We are really trying to support you in your after high school endeavors.
Yeah, good. Okay. I think it's worth noting, you guys, that, I mean, this is really what we created the program about, was trying to support you. And really, and this is, a lot of this stuff is the same kind of stuff that they do in AVID, but we're not trying to take up room in your schedule, which is what necessitates having to do a zero period once a week. And like Mrs. Wilson said, we're not going to do them just to do them. Like, there's good stuff that's happening. All right. I would assume that you all know this, but I'll hit it real quick. Like, how does AP fit in? What should you know about AP classes? How does AP benefit you, your student? So your student has, like, probably 4 AP classes this year. And you're probably wondering, like, why are we doing all this? Well, if you don't know, passing an AP exam, the AP exams are offered in May, and the district pays for all of them. And if your student passes, with a 3, a 4, or a 5. It's on a 5-point scale, and 3 is considered passing. So many colleges will take 3, 4s, and 5s and turn them into college credit, which means that when your student goes to college, ideally they would have already passed a bunch of AP exams, and these are now going to be classes that they don't have to take. So it has a monetary value because now when they get to college and they see their transcript, they're already going to have classes that they have met, which means that they're not paying for that class now in college. So that's the goal with these. But it is more than just a score, and I tell students this all the time, that even if you score a 1 or a 2, it's not like you failed, because when you take those AP classes and those honors classes, this is now going on your transcript as rigor. So that means that when colleges see your transcript, they are going to see that you chose to take hard things and do hard things, and it's going to make you look more impressive and ready for college. And then obviously you need to do your best in an AP class, because whether you pass or not, it's really about making sure that when you get to college, you're ready for that college level rigor. And so I like seeing students do well in AP classes, because it just means in general that you're going to be more prepared when you get to college. Something that I do want to throw into this part of the conversation is with the district's new early college program that they have created through Valley College for our 9th and 10th graders. I'm getting the question a lot, is it better to do a community college class or an AP class? And the answer is that I don't really like answering that question, because I don't think there is an answer to that. I think in a perfect world, students would be doing both. So I need you guys to know that I would say at this point about half of the Alpha Scholars are doing community college classes on their own, either during the summer or during the school year if they have room in their schedule to do it and it's not too much. Those community college classes can be another great way to get some experience and do some things that maybe we don't offer at Carter, and again to earn that college credit. So I like seeing students do both. If that's something you're interested in, we should absolutely be having that conversation. Yeah, so yeah, AP classes, that's what we're looking at. So what should you know about the PSAT? Well, you took the PSAT last year. You'll be doing it again. Mrs. Wilson already mentioned that in October, and we absolutely expect that all Alpha Scholar juniors are taking the PSAT, because the SAT you'll be taking for the first time this year. I know that with the pandemic, many colleges moved away from the SAT scores. Currently, Cal States and UCs don't look at them, but we expect that to be changing. What we've been seeing happen is that a lot of out-of-state schools and private schools have moved back to the SAT. It would not surprise me at all as a counselor to see Cal States and UCs move back even as early as next year to requiring that. So we do want to make sure that all of our students are taking it, so that you've got those test scores in your in your back pocket. It can't hurt you to take the test. The district pays for all of them. It's definitely a good thing. So plus it could be a requirement for some of the scholarships that you're applying for. So yes, should you retake the SAT in the fall? Because oftentimes, if we go back to how things used to be like 6, 7, 8 years ago, students would often take the SAT as a junior and then they would retake it in the fall. This really is a case-by-case question, and we can discuss this when you get your scores back about whether or not it'd be a good idea to retake it. So that doesn't have to be a yes, I'm definitely going to retake it. Let's see how you do, and then we can talk about that. Okay. And by the way, guys, the PSAT in October as a junior is an excellent way to qualify for scholarships. There is a specific merit-based scholarship that's attached to really good PSAT scores. So you definitely want to try your best on that and see what we can do. And that zero period will be helping you with that.
Yes, yes, yes. Okay. So next Thursday, August 22nd, is back to school night. And you might have questions about the trips, about transcripts, anything else that we've talked about, anything that we haven't talked about. So back to school night, we're going to, Mr. Wilson and I will be available in the Career Center for you to stop by and ask questions. You don't have to stay. You just pop in and ask what you need, and then go on to the next part of whatever back to school night is. But you can always contact either one of us. You can see our emails there on the screen, but we are looking forward to a great year 2026. It's going to be a good one. So we'll see you soon.
All right.